Hello and welcome to Debbie's Crafty Hands. Thank you for supporting me thus far. I think we're on video 7 or 8 now, so we're getting there. There's a few in the wings waiting to be seen. And today we're going to be playing with napkins, serviettes. You can use tissue paper and potentially rice paper for all these things. But today I'm concentrating on napkins and hopefully going to give you little tips, and also on stencils. I have got a limited supply of stencils at the moment, but I'm hoping in a future episode to make my own, and we can play with them and show you how to do it. So today we're using a mask, which is basically, as this example shows, you mask the area you don't want the ink or paint, whereas a stencil would, you would fill in the hole and leave the outside will be clean. So we'll do one of both, one of each later on. That's that. Now, serviettes can be a little bit tricky. They're usually 3-ply. You only really, for this particular purposes, need the top layer, the layer with the picture colours. Now there are various sizes of serviettes. They come in this sort of square sort of pocket size, and they also come in the big packs. I have quite a few and I want to make a concerted effort to use them up. I find my serviettes in supermarkets, garden centres, and sometimes even in restaurants. Don't use it, bring it home with you, you're paying for it. So, but I didn't say that. So to use your serviettes or your napkins, you need to take the top layer off, and it is sealed around the edges a little bit tighter, so you have to break that seal. And the easiest way I found is a little bit of sellotape. Find the end. Wow, straight away. And you put the sellotape on the corner, holding the corner, and you pull up, and you can pull off the backing layers. Now I have 2 backing layers here. It's come off both together, but sometimes you have to do each layer individually. Now don't throw these away, because you can use them up for mop-ups, or at a later date I'm going to do a rather messy episode and show you how to make handmade paper from these bits of paper, so save them. The other thing you want to do with your tissues is pick your image you'd like. Now you can cut out a small image, say like in this corner, or the bird, or you can do a whole image. You can use scissors to trim round, fine, but I find to get the image nicely on your surface you need a more jaggedy egg, and then it fades into the background. Now this serviette's got a creamy background, so it's not going to fade completely on the white background. But the other serviette that I'm going to use has a white background, so it will fade better, and I can show you the difference of what colour backgrounds, how they work. Let's take the backing layer off of this one. So this one's coming off separately, so this is the first layer. Bring you out a little bit, yeah. Bit too up close and personal there. And again, doesn't matter if this is ripped, you can still use it. There we go. Now I quite like this particular serviette because you can separate the little creatures and use them individually. If you're not cutting them, you can tear them. So for instance, where your thumb is underneath, you can tear around. Your thumbs and your fingers, wherever they are, is where you're going to tear. So work carefully and gently, and you can tear around your image. I'm going to tear this straight line off because I want a nice fuzzy edge so it will blend better. There we go. So we have one little critter rescued from the serviette. Now another way of doing it is use a water pen. Thank you. I've just got a cup of tea given to me, very nice. Now a water pen is a paintbrush, and you can use it for painting as well, with a little hollow top which you put your water in and it flows through the brush, and this way you can wet your serviette napkin around your image. Try not to get it too wet because it might flow into your other pictures, and it just very easily pulls away. So if you're a little bit worried about an intricate piece of napkin and you don't want to risk finger tearing it, then this is quite a good method. So once again, I'll go around the straight edges and get myself a bit of a jagged edge. These particular napkins come in a pack of 20. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. there's 36 images on them, so they might be a little bit pricey to buy the pack, or you might get them on sale, etc. But the amount of images you have to make use of is pretty good per serviette, so I think they're quite good value and it gives you lots of options. These smaller ones are usually slightly more expensive, I suppose because they're more dainty and what have you, but they are equally as effective because you have 4 images on each section of your serviette. So I'm going to use my water brush, and I want to take this picture out here, and I want to take the bird out separately. So I'm going to gently tear where the waterline is. This makes the paper a little bit softer to work with. Now when you come between the two images, you can use the finger thumb method just to stop it tearing into the... I don't want my birdie to lose its beak. And come round that image, and then just a little bit of water on the bottom edge so that I can get rid of that straight line. So we have a butterfly, we have a flower, and we have our bumblebee. Sorry, our ladybird so far. Let's get our little birdie out of the mix. No, don't lose your tail, little birdie. I want to say that no animal was harmed during the filming of this video so far. So they're the images that I'm going to work with for the moment, and you can come back and get more if you decide you want them. So I've done this preparation so that it was ready, but I will do some samples of this in a minute. To jazz this up a little bit more, I thought we could maybe put the bird perched on the side here and the flower on the edge down the bottom corner. I'm going to save these ones for the next envelope. Now, in order to put them on your envelope, you can, as we have done with other things, use your stick glue, or you can use Mod Podge. It's a water-based glue, sealer and finish. This is the matte one. You can get a gloss finish also, and I believe they do a dishwasher safe one nowadays as well, but I haven't got that, so I couldn't tell you how good or otherwise it is. But sometimes if you're going back over your image, now I don't want to go back over my image, but if you're doing a collage, Mod Podge is brilliant because you can lay the image onto your surface and then cover it over to seal it. Now I don't necessarily want to seal these, but I can. So I could potentially stick glue them down and then seal them with Mod Podge, depending as to whether my envelope's going to go external post or just be handed to someone. So it does depend, as I said with previous envelopes, how you're going to send it, whether it's going external post or direct to the recipient. So let's get the angle of my flower how I want it. Yeah, that's nice. Just gently. Now be careful your fingers don't get too sticky, because otherwise you'll pull your paper up. Now I've not got under here completely. I'm just going to lift that back gently and put a little bit of glue under here. Didn't get it quite wide enough. drop it down. Now you can use something like your stencil to flatten it without rubbing it. Just press it. You could use maybe the ink block. As long as it's not going to stick to your paper, then it's good. Now I'm just going to tear off that little edge. You can use the nail file, but it was only a tiny little bit, so it wasn't worth getting that ready. Now up into this corner, and we need to see where we want our birdie. So we want him over the edge. It's like he's flying over the cloud. There. The glue will dry clear, so if you've gone too far out of your area where you want to put your image, then it will dry clear, so, and won't be sticky once it's dry. Okay. So I'm just literally dabbing with my finger just to get contact, and then I'm going to use my bit of masking, get that other glue off from before, just to make sure it doesn't tacky, and just burnish over it just to get a firm fixing. Now you can do this and put some cling film over your image. Now I lifted it from the edge and up rather than directly up because I could feel it was sticking down a little bit and I didn't want it pulling my image up. I'm just going to give this a little wipe with my trusty damp cloth. Get the stickiness off. Let that dry a second. Quick slurp of tea before it gets cold. So that is, oh no, we've got a little bit to come off the edge here. Thank you. Take off the edge. So we have quite a straightforward but quite pretty envelope, and we can put our address here, the name of the person you want to send it to. Now if you wanted to go a bit further and decorate the back of it, I recommend you let the front dry first, because if you're pushing it down onto a surface, then there's a chance that if your images isn't completely dry, it might pull off. So put that to one side to dry. Now, as promised, I'm going to show you how I did the stencil. Now I've got a ready-made one. You may not have anything like this, but you could have. So let me show you how. Got a bit of card, even old inside of a cereal box. You don't need major artistic skills for this, because I certainly haven't got them. You just need to have an idea of the shape you want. So it could be oblong, it could be oval, it could be square, it could be round, it could be heart shaped. Just have a image in your head as to what shape you want and how big you want it. So if you're going to put it on a particular envelope, now you can reuse the masks, but if you've got to line it up on your envelope, then you've got an idea of how wide you want it, whereabouts you want it. So I'm just going to do a rough oval shape, roughly how deep I want. I want it slightly wider, I think. Now that's too long here, so we'll come in a little bit. And then I'm going to scallop around it. Now, you can neaten it up. I'm a bit under slight time restraints in order to get everything I want to tell you today in. So I'm going to cut this out. But you can, you know, spend a little bit of time finalising, getting the right size, going back over, and then once you've got the image you want, maybe go over it in bold so you know which lines you want to work with, because that can be, if you're going over a couple of times, but it can be as whimsical or as symmetric as you like. So you might want all your lumpy bumpies to be even, you might want your lumpy bumpies to be uneven and more sort of organic. Mine's very organic by the looks of it, but however you do it, it's going to work, and it's how you want it. There's no right or wrong way with this. It's just working with an idea. Now also, once you've got these, as I said before, on the working on this envelope, you can do clouds. So for instance, if you brought this down and did another colour, like an orange or a red or whatever, you could do clouds as if it was sunset and move it along, change the width of them, and the more higgledy-piggledy they are, the more naturalistic they look. So that's another reason for doing your more whimsical lines. Now that's, I think it's a nice size. You can hold it down, or you can use low tape to stick it in place, but because you're going to be using the whole of the outside, I would recommend holding it down, or just putting a little bit of, I'll show you, just a tiny dab of glue stick, just a quick smear, just to hold it in place, which will then, you can remove it. Now, I use a stencil brush. Makeup brushes work perfectly well. In fact, I think these are makeup brushes, and they are really good for getting into the edges. So you hold with your fingers, and just, you don't have to do the whole centre of it, just work around the outside. Go out as far as you'd like. Shade your image. So how far do you want to come out into the envelope? Do you want lights and darks? Darker at the edges, lighter out to the sides? Just gently peel that off. It's a bit tacky, but it's gonna dry, so that's fine. Now that's not quite the same, but not far off. Homemade and your own personal style. You can, as I say, you can do it however you feel the urge, so to speak. So with this one, we're going to put our, not going to stick them on, but you'll see them at the end. Our bumblebees on the brain, our ladybird, and our flutterby. You can, I do them these corners because if you are going to post them out, then stamp usually goes here. so make sure you allow for your stamp. But you can do on 3 corners, you can do on the flap, decorate however you like, but I'm just giving you the ideas, and then you can use your imagination for the rest. Now that gives you an opening inside, but what if you want all white and then in the middle? That's easy enough. You just do a stencil like this, and I'm just going to tape this bit together where I cut through. So you do your own thing, own design. Teeth aren't working today, I'm going to have to cut it. Now if you've got sellotape, you be careful because it could be a bit slippy. If you have paper tape, might be better, but I'm just going to cut the tape round the inside of that so it's not affecting the shape. Stuck to my scissors now. Okay, like a bit up over the top, trim down the side here. So you can either jiggy jag the outside, or you can smooth the outside. Because it's the inside you're using, but you could do a multi-purpose stencil. You could use the inside and jiggy jag the outside, and then you've got different sizes. So, yeah, multi-purpose. Okay, so get rid of that. Now my oval's not exactly straight, but you could spend more time doing that. But it's the inside bit that counts. It's where we want to do our image. Now if you're using inks, now I'm using a Stampin' Up pad in a pinky colour. I'll have a look and see what the name of it is. Pink Passion, or Passionate Pink. You have to be careful how dark you do it. Now this is one you... Get another envelope, I've got inky fingers. My little gone. Inky fingers, so get a fresh envelope. Dry. That's because I tried to turn over the ink pad. Now you're going to do inside part. You got it level to where you want it. Low tack tape. Just lightly hold it in place. Don't burnish it down. This is washi tape. And then hold down your edges. Work from the outside, working in, getting lighter in the middle. Little circles. Spoon. Spoon. Spoons. So, when we lift it up, we have the alternate image. So here we have a mask because you're masking the area you want to write in. And here we have a stencil because you're stenciling into that aperture. So that's the difference between a mask and a stencil. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's been informative and given some food for thought. I'm going to wrap it up now and let's close my ink before I put my fingers in it again. I shall leave you with that, and much love, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.